You're live.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back
Welcome back.
to the Nobody Asked Show. What a slate. We have, I think, the normal segments of the review show. The three of us have some crow to eat, have some demons to face. But let's let's start off easy. Let's start off easy because there was some news on Sunday in the college football world. Of course, James Franklin is out at Penn State.
About damn time.
Could you imagine a sweeter life? There's one sweeter life I can imagine than James Franklin right now, and that's Jimbo Fisher, just because he got more money. But to just be told to kindly fuck off for $50 million that's a dream.
I don't understand how it's like a reward for
It's
being
just a
bad.
contract. It's just a contract. So like when you
But I
sign a
don't get it.
contract, you're at risk too. What do you mean you won't? What do you not get?
I mean, like, I
You
understand
should
the contract. I just don't understand why it's part of the contract. Like, I've never understood, like, why there's buyout
It's-
clauses. Like, if you suck, you should
it's
just
just
get fired.
what's-
Like, it's just...
I think it's just what's left on the contract that they owe him. Like because it was a 10-year deal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, all right,
That's
gotcha.
my
That makes more
that's-
sense.
That's my understanding.
I mean, but even then, like, wouldn't you just put in the contract that, oh, we have the right to fire you and not pay out the rest of your contract because you like
why would the coach
sucked
sign
ass?
that?
I mean,
But why would the coach sign
Yeah.
that?
because
Yeah, that
you're
makes
because you're
sense.
still signing a 10-year like $100 million deal.
Yeah, but if I suck after the first year, then me getting hired becomes a lot harder, and I don't have the money. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
there's far more above average far less above average coaches than our programs. So if you don't give them the buyout, someone else is going to give them the buyout. Either way, the coach wouldn't sign if they know they can just get fired for nothing.
No, I get like why. I guess I get like why they would offer it to get the best coach they can in. I just
Yeah.
think like the system, I guess, doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, I guess it's no different than like a CEO or
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
an
all,
exec,
yeah.
but
It just seems a little tall. But here's one thing I am going to just address, and I'm sick of hearing. Because every time this happens, you're hearing all the Penn State faculty or whoever else at Penn State's all up and roar about, oh, well, this is the priority. Like, they don't care about us. No fucking shit. Like, that. It's very obvious that they care about football. Like, it's not academics. I can tell you that much. That much. Academics is now what gets people excited about going to Penn State. If you want to do that, be a better teacher. Teach at Harvard. Until then, like, quit complaining about it. Like, you know what you signed up for when you got into the gig. Get over it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it. Don't complain. That's what is tradition at Penn State. It's football. That's what matters. Academics are cool. That can be a secondary thought.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, buyout aside, can you guys remember a downfall as quick as this? Because I feel like it was an overtime away from being what, number 2 in the nation, maybe even number 1, and 3 weeks later, toast.
14 days ago, they were undefeated, top 5 ranked. James Franklin they were still like one of the favorites to win the national championship. And in just 2 weeks, he doesn't have a job. It's crazy.
All I'll say is, hey, maybe Oregon wasn't that good.
That's also where my mind went a little bit, Evan, especially with the
we'll
Indiana
get to
thumping.
Oregon.
But
We'll get to Oregon
I
for
do.
sure.
I'm not saying that. I do think Oregon's still a really good football team, but I don't think they're maybe as good as we thought they were.
Or Indiana is better than we thought they were. But like again,
Yes,
we'll get to
that
that.
could also be the case.
Agree, but also like the way how bad Penn State's been playing, like
I think also something that kind of snuck under the radar, at least I only saw this until like yesterday, but with all the James Franklin news, I totally missed Drew Aller out for the season.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, Drew Aller's out for the season. He didn't return to the game.
Out for the season.
Got carted off the field.
Can't red shark.
Red
Yeah,
shark.
what?
Jesus Christ! What is that? What is that? A bloody shark? I mean, that sounds like a serious injury. Don't get me wrong, but geez, I knew that was season ending.
Yeah.
Six weeks of ball and you can't red shark.
Damn. I I feel bad for the guy, but yeah, that's he sharded away the season. He sharded away his career. I don't know. He from that last interception he threw against Notre Dame to kind of end their season, or not kind of, but to completely end their season in the
Oregon,
college
just to
football.
correct you, but
No, the one he threw against Notre Dame in the college football
last
Gotcha, gotcha.
season.
Okay,
last
gotcha,
season.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Since that interception, Drew Aller's just looked bang average. Like if he would have come out last year, even after that interception, he's probably a first round pick. Like now, where does he go? He's not going to play the rest of the season. His tape doesn't look good. I pulled up Tankathon really quick. I just want to see where they even have him ranked.
I don't think he's a first round
I
pick if he came out last year. I think that's a little bit of a
Uh,
stretch.
I just think he's a big quarterback with the NFL size that GMs like, and somebody at the back end of the first round takes him. That's just kind of where I'm at. But I mean, I don't necessarily think I
he's
don't think he was deserving of it. But
to me, I have not seen anything to make him even close to a first rounder. He's slow. His arm's not even there. I genuinely just don't even think he's a good quarterback.
I will say, just to give him some credit, like I do think he's being used a little wrong. He's not this new age quarterback that's mobile and can get around and make plays on the run. He excels in the pocket. Like if you know you have that guy who's 6'5", big arm, but is not that mobile, you've got a game plan around that. But yeah, he fell from, I think he was the number 2 projected quarterback to now he's a 50th projected pick. So what is that, second round, late second round? So he lost himself a lot of money. The guy who was number 1, Cade Klubnik, is now at 60. So also lost himself a lot of money this year. It's just been one of those seasons. But yeah, before we get into the categories and everything, who would y'all say Penn State should hire? Any thoughts? I've heard a lot of Matt Rule just because of the whole Temple, Pennsylvania connection. I've also heard some Signetti, which to me makes a ton of sense. But any thoughts?
I saw what's his face, Oregon head coach, but
No way.
personally, I can't see it. Like,
No.
why would you leave when you just beat? Yeah.
And he's just got a pipeline of Nike money at his disposal whenever he wants.
So you think Signetti?
I think Signetti should be the first call. I mean, if you're looking, Signetti's an older coach. I think he's like mid-60s, so you don't have like that coach of the future. But he turned Indiana into a top 3 nationally ranked team in a year and a half. What do you think he could do at Penn State? I mean, I don't know that I'm leaving though if I'm Signetti. Penn State kind of looks like a disaster.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think Penn State should take a look at a guy called Mike Shula. I'd love to see him go there.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
I really think he might do good things there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to them. We'll get to them. Don't worry. Let's go ahead and get into it. Do y'all want to start with the categories? Do you want to take our medicine on the Gamecocks? Where do y'all want to get into first? Okay. All right. All right. Fair enough. Well, Chuck, get us started with your biggest riser in college football this week.
Yeah, biggest riser. Didn't list his first name. Probably should have done that. But Bailey from Texas Tech. I think he's on the defensive line. 3 sacks and 11 pressures versus Kansas. Was absolutely unguardable, unblockable. I thought I'd throw a defensive player in for a change. I
Yeah.
feel like they don't get enough credit these days, but Texas Tech is rolling, and that defense is a big part of it. So he's my riser.
Texas Tech, they came in this week at number 7. Ahead of them is Alabama and Ole Miss. What has Ole Miss done besides be undefeated? But so has Texas Tech. Who has Ole Miss beaten? What has Ole Miss done to be ranked higher than Texas Tech? I don't get it.
Who did they beat?
Washington
LSU?
State this week and LSU, who might not be any good. No, LSU beat them. Sorry, no, they beat
No.
LSU. My bad. They beat LSU. I got lost in the sauce there. Chuck, I'm glad you brought up a defensive player though, because I also went that route. My biggest riser was the Indiana defense. We've talked a lot about Mendoza on this show. We've talked a lot about them being able to put up points specifically against Illinois, but that game I think was 30-20. Is that how it ended, I believe? And outside of a pick six and like a 44-yard touchdown pass on some blown coverage, that could have easily been 30-6. Like Indiana's defense was only really at fault for 7 points, or 1 touchdown, I guess, because they had the field goals too. But Indiana's defenses looked really good. They went into Austin and Eugene and handled Oregon. That game was not as close as it looked. Indiana's defense is by far my biggest riser. I did not think they were that good until this game, obviously. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it. That. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get into it. Where do you want to go with that game? Because I think Indiana. I think that's the most impressive win of the season now for any team.
Gotta be. Any team? Eh,
Any
yeah.
team in the country. At Oregon, 7.5 point dog. Nobody respects you. Biggest win. They're here. Yeah. It
I
like
feel
we.
like
Sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
I just gonna say I feel like it's also really impressive just the whole season with them because last year after that Notre Dame game, all the narrative was why are they there? Why
Yeah,
why did they make the playoffs? Like this was stupid. Should have picked another team. And I mean, regardless of what happened last year, to come into this season and go undefeated, like you said, go into Eugene, beat Oregon. Now you're ranked number three. That's quite an answer.
yeah, and like Ohio State last year won the national championship, and they couldn't beat Oregon at Oregon. Like that's not an easy place to play. So just kudos to Indiana. Like easy top three. I agree with the ranking there, but then versus Miami on a neutral field, we've at least Evan and I have been allowed as non-Miami believers still. But who do you have? Who do you have favored there? Neutral field. I think I agree.
Ah,
I think I agree.
I love Miami.
Okay.
It's a defense, yeah.
I
That
mean,
defensive line.
Indiana's defense might be really good too, though. Now, who like? Yeah, yeah. Ohio State is really good. Well, they beat Utah fairly handily. I know it was a sloppy game, and I still think Utah's really good. I'm really hoping that those two teams handle business and we get that rematch. But that's beside the point. Ev, you said you had a backup. You want to get into it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was good to see that they still had. Obviously, it's easy to get up for a big rivalry game, but we've seen teams that just have had some tough losses, not meeting expectations, and just continue to crumble and crumble. I mean, we saw it with this Oklahoma team kind of last year. So good to see that Texas still had that fight because if they came out flat in a game like that, then I think it's pretty much it's very much over.
And Arch Manning didn't throw an interception.
He did not throw an interception, big time. Um, I'm not out, but I'm
I'm
good.
Gavin.
I'm not out, but I'm not like I'm a truther. I feel like I still think he could be the guy we think he could, but I don't know. I mean, I think he could be serviceable still. Like I'm not. Yeah, I could got it when he's
Yeah,
the
I think
quarterback of the Saints.
he's I mean you think
Yeah, he
I
will.
think he has to. Yeah. I mean, he's in a good spot as well.
Yeah,
And I would also say like I know he threw for like 170 or something like that yards, but I do think he played a really good game. Like watching back on the highlights, couldn't see the full game. I also gotta say, he's a weapon when he can get out the pocket
yeah.
and run.
He he's
He's got some
he's
wheels on him.
athletic.
If he can just like I feel like improve his decision making, which is kind of ironic as a Manning, and um, really just I mean, watching those Florida highlights was tough. That was a tough performance, but it's a good way to put it, Evan. It's a bounce back. It's a nice bounce back game.
He's like the complete opposite of every Manning we've watched. He processes slow, but he's super athletic.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
right.
Um, Chuck,
Yeah.
what'd you have for your what are you doing moment of the week?
What are you doing? Moment of the week? It's just Penn State. I mean, we already talked about it, but
Yeah,
every single week, I think this team is. I mean, gonna or since the Oregon loss, I'm thinking, okay, well, that's over with. They got their bad loss out the way. They go
yeah,
lose to UCLA, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that was the fluke loss out the way. Going across country, they're not gonna give one up to Northwestern. And honestly, I feel like the players just kind of quit on him a little bit in that game. But
yeah, yeah. It
yeah, just the entire organization, like, what are you doing losing to those two teams?
it by like halftime of that Northwestern game, it looked like they had given up, and it looked like he was resigned to the fact he was not going to get to Monday. It there was a very clear air of uncomfort that whole second half. Just the fastest fall from grace. I did think he had built up a little bit more equity, but I've not heard a single Penn State fan that's been like, this is a bad move. So it's not my team.
What
Ev,
was your
Oh, yeah. I'll get into mine. I'll get
What are
into
you doing
mine.
moment?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and his buyout is like I think less than half of what Franklin's was. So if you're a Florida fan, yeah,
Chump change.
if you're a Florida fan, you just see Penn State do that, you're like, okay, come on, guys, come on. I think there's going to be an interesting coaching carousel come this offseason because I've mentioned it a couple of times. I think Clark Lee at Vanderbilt is gone. I think he's going to capitalize on a bigger job opportunity. I think James Franklin, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, could go back to Vanderbilt. I think that's an easy first call for Vanderbilt if Lee goes. You could still see Kiffin leave after this year. This is going to be an interesting coaching carousel. Um,
Oh, what do you think about the Vanderbilt coach for the Penn State job?
I think he's gonna. I think Penn State fans, yeah, and James Franklin. Penn State hired James Franklin from Vanderbilt. I don't know that Penn State fans or boosters are going to be super pumped about repeating the Vanderbilt guy
I
hire.
mean, completely different guy
I
though.
know,
I
but
mean, I,
you're giving
I,
fans too much credit and rationality.
what did
You know
James
what I mean?
Franklin do at Vanderbilt though? I feel like this guy's
I
actually
think he was there the last
turned the
time.
program around.
I think he was there the last time they beat the Gamecocks. So it was a while ago because he got hired at Penn State um right
Wasn't that
after
like a
Bill
decade ago?
O'Brien. Yeah, but I think he went like 27-15. Like winning records at Vanderbilt at that time was still significant. And we'll see.
Yeah,
Clark Lee wasn't
yeah.
doing that much without Diego Pavia, but we'll get to there at a different point. I had two for my what are you doing moments. The first one is the University of North Texas on Friday night. The first 5 minutes of the second half. Let me just read a couple things. This game's tied 21-21 going into half. To open the second half, third quarter, USF scores a touchdown in the first minute. Then North Texas throws an interception within that next minute. Or South Florida scores in 30 seconds. So they've given up two touchdowns in like 2.5 minutes. And North Texas gets the ball back, fumbles, South Florida scoop and score. That's 1 minute later. So 3.5 minutes, they've shipped 21 points, and they're down 21-42 after just being tied. This was unbelievable. I've never seen what looked like a sharp read go so poorly so fast. And then if you look at the rest of the game, it's even. They just shipped 21 points in the first 3.5 minutes off of one bad play to open the half, interception to a touchdown 20 seconds later, and then a fumble return touchdown. It was one of the most unbelievable, like, looking great to completely dead plays I've ever made in my life. Completely
I feel like
unbelievable.
that's all it takes in college football.
But I've seen like one, sure, even two, but three touchdowns in 3.5 minutes after you're tied at halftime against a ranked opponent. It was just unbelievable. Um, and then the final one was just the refs in Auburn versus Georgia. I mean, what an absolute howler of a game from the officials. Kirby Smart getting away with the timeout hand clap thing, like that was unbelievable. The fourth quarter felt like it took 3 hours. Like there was games that started and finished before the fourth quarter that game finished. There was 40,000 reviews. None of them were right. It just an atrocious performance from refs who still don't have to answer any questions like college kids have to answer questions after a bad performance. These guys are adults and they completely made a mockery. It was absurd. I've never seen such a thing.
So can we just talk about that Kirby Smart scene?
Dude, he
Because
is the worst. He's
I've
the
never
worst.
seen anything like that before. And can I also ask, can they not look back on the tape and be like, yeah, you blatantly try to deceive the referees?
The
Like, here's a
most
$100,000 fine or something.
they could, but
How
it's
is there no consequences to that?
because it's Kirby Smart in Georgia, and the people that would
It's
le-
so obvious
the
that he
people that
just
would levy
is
that
calling a
fine are the
timeout.
I know, but the people that would have to levy that fine would be the SEC, I would assume, because the SEC officials were that's who hired the officials. So the SEC is not going to fine Kirby Smart in Georgia. If they were going to fine him for anything, it would be one of the 50 or 60 different traffic tickets his team keeps getting. Not for the like they're just not going to fine Kirby Smart.
No, that's true. If they're not going to do that,
Yeah,
there's no
dude, like,
chance in hell they're gonna.
but I guarantee
So,
you,
how did the play actually unfold?
dude, it was like uh,
Because they gave the timeout back, right?
they
Like, does the
gave it.
clock just like
Yeah, so
I didn't
he's
watch that part of the game, but
it's a big play. He's running down to try to call a timeout, and then the ref gives the timeout, and he decides he doesn't want it. He was definitely just trying to like cause havoc because he can. But as soon as the ref calls a timeout, he unloads on the ref. It's like, no, I wasn't calling a timeout. I was clapping, and like the ref just folded. I don't.
yeah, and we got a lot of refs folding this week, and
Yeah,
we'll talk about
yeah.
that in the NFL segment as well.
But I promise you, if that's like you have Texas, Georgia, Bama, that's maybe it. Any other team in the SEC, there is consequences from that. Um, you like if Florida's good, then they'd probably get away with it. I mean, Tennessee maybe, I don't know, but like if that's the majority of different schools in the SEC, I don't know. Not the way that they're playing. I don't think the SEC gives a shit about Auburn right now. Um, Chuck, what was your best game?
Yeah, you kind of just touched on it actually. But my best game was that Friday night South Florida game. Almost, I think it was like 100 points.
It was like
I know it
90,
wasn't,
99 or something.
super. Yeah, it wasn't the closest game. But man, what a fun game to watch. Just every time I looked up, there was a touchdown on my screen. And then you mentioned those 21 points and
Dude.
just rapid fire. It's just an entertaining one to watch.
So if you for whatever reason just like you had to take a dump and you missed the beginning of the third quarter and there was no score bug, like you would have thought that was the best game of all time. Like and we'll get to it in the gambling corner, but I'll go since we're on the game. I had over 65 and a half pregame. Once that looked like it was the clearest bet of all time, I just started to like I basically laddered overs, and I've never hit an over at 98 and a half, but fuck was that exhilarating. I
First time
did
for everything, I
I
guess.
then did touch for just like a half unit over 105. So I did lose ultimately on the very last one, but God, what an exhilarating ride that was. I think I hit 3 or 4 live overs. Just they would not stop scoring. It was one of the most fun games I've watched. Um, Ev, what was your best game of the weekend? Yeah. When you say when you say best players, do you mean like having the best season or the best like player in college football, like the best overall player?
Or best quarterback.
Okay.
So Heisman?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Ty Simpson. Yeah. Yeah.
Caleb Simpson's a
Caleb
baller,
Simpson's
man.
a
He can play
beast,
safety
dude.
and quarterback.
Travis Hunter could never.
Put him everywhere.
Yeah. That was so awesome. That was so awesome. Yeah. 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 Yeah, they're a
I'd
perfect
honestly
example.
agree.
They're a perfect example of like have you mentioned the transitive property earlier? They're a perfect example of why we can't continue to use that anymore now that we have a bigger sample size because that team lost to Florida State somehow. Ty Simpson looked horrible, and it just shows like in college they're still kids. At the end of the day, the thing for Alabama that they
And week one means nothing.
week one means absolutely nothing, which is why the playoff is awesome. Because we that could have eliminated Bama from contention of a championship, and they're playing. It's definitely the best ball in the SEC. I mean, A&M's playing well too. Jam Miller getting hurt is concern for Bama, especially going into Tennessee this weekend. But we'll get to that on the preview show. I'm sure we'll hear more about whatever happened there.
Can,
Uh,
can I also just say, like,
yeah,
stats and impact aside, Ty Simpson he throws a great ball.
yeah,
It looks like he's just got pace on it. It's the spiral is nice. I feel like he's not throwing, Dylan Gabriel hospital balls. He really like just has a great arm. And I
yeah.
feel like that goes a long way
Yeah, and
for obvious
he's
reasons.
intelligent. He puts the ball in the right spot. Like we've seen a lot of really talented, physically talented quarterbacks this year just fold, not have any composure in it. He's incredible in like tough situations. Yeah, yeah. Um, we touched on it a little bit already, so I won't. I had both those games written down that you both mentioned, but my favorite game to watch this week was just the Indiana Oregon game for a lot of the reasons we touched on. Obviously, huge matchup, huge intrigue. And Indiana, the team that we thought Indiana was going into this is why this game was so intriguing, because they kept almost shooting themselves in the foot. When you see a team that you think is inferior before the game, they're going into the better team's home stadium, and then they get off to a good start, but then make plays like the pick six, like the blown coverage. You're just expecting them to kind of collapse in an incredible comeback. So this game, I was so locked in, expecting Oregon to just pull it out, and Indiana really just did never flinch. Fun game to watch between two teams. Just an incredible performance again. Nothing that we haven't touched on already.
Two great coaches as well.
Tennessee, Arkansas deserves a shot though, because that was, I think, the first under Arkansas had, and they still scored 65 totals. So just another fun game from Arkansas. They can't win a game, but man, do they score the football. Chuck, let's round it out. What was your biggest takeaway? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Evan.
No, sorry, yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I do forget things sometimes, so
it's hard. It's hard. Biggest overall takeaway. I've said it. I feel like every week on this podcast, and I'm just going to keep saying it until one of the teams loses. But Notre Dame's losses are just progressively looking better and better and better as A&M and Miami keep winning. And I feel like after those two losses, so many people wrote them off, and those one-score losses are now looking like, coin flips. And I'm happy to see them ranked 13th. I think it's only a matter of time until they get, one of those playoff spots. But, barring, like I said, a crazy upset, I feel like Notre Dame could be that team that everyone kind of wrote off at the beginning of the year, and here they come.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We do have a good sample size now of who's good, who's bad, what the playoff picture's starting to kind of look like, but there's just so much that can still happen, and specifically with a team like Notre Dame. Yeah, their two losses are looking better and better, but they've given themselves no room for error for that like one-off shitty performance week. I mean, there's just so much to happen still, but I agree. Their two losses don't look bad.
I almost feel like Marcus Freeman, though. I feel like they like that in a way. Like back
Maybe.
Against the wall, we've got to play our hearts out every game. I mean, they're destroying teams right now. So
Yeah,
to me, it feels like they're, they have USC next week though.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that on Thursday. But
it's one thing though to love this Southern Cal. They have Southern Cal.
It's because I'm looking at my scoreboard here.
Yeah. It is one thing to say like you love the. Yeah, I hear you. One thing to say you love the underdog spot when you have like a Riley Leonard or even like a Sam Hartman, but they do have a true freshman quarterback starting, and as much as he might love the spotlight and love a tough spot,
good.
He's really good, but he's still a true freshman, and they're still liable to make a mistake in a big game. So we'll see. Ev, what about you? Because my takeaway leads us into Gamecock talk. Yeah, I have mine is pretty similar. I think Shane Beamer has done an overall really good job. He's brought in recruits. He's brought excitement to the program. He's changed the culture in a lot of different ways. There's a buzz around the university that Muschamp just wasn't able to create. But his inability to surround that culture and those players, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, with a competent offensive coordinator, and more importantly, an offensive line. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's done such a good job at getting these splash quarterbacks, whether it be Rattler in the portal, whether it being having the vision to go find Sellers in Florence as a 3-star recruit. He's done a good job at recruiting quarterback. His inability to hire or to surround that quarterback with successful pieces is ultimately what's going to get him fired if he doesn't fix it. And that's both coaching, offensive line, top receivers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Juice Wells was a good find for the 1 year he was there. Leggett became a stud. Harbor, we projected to be good. He still has a lot of work to do, but his inability to make good on these awesome finds he's getting at quarterback is going to get him fired. And with that, we can go ahead and get into the game. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. No. Yeah. I do think that this is a game that we could absolutely get against Oklahoma. We'll save that again for Thursday, but I, it's frustrating because I agree with everything you're saying. We have explosive players on the outside. We have quality. We have people that we're high on 247's recruiting list and all that. Whatever you want to say, it's just been unimaginative. And even if you think back to like last year, like we have some sort of fond memories with Loggins because the offense had some big moments. That was just Sellers being spectacular. That wasn't good play calling. That wasn't um, creative design. It was just Sellers being the best player on the field. And with that, I
Yeah,
mean, are either of y'all worried about Sellers? Because I am.
I was actually just going to comment on that. I mean, I couldn't watch the whole game, but obviously watched all the highlights, and every single time I felt like Sellers was just rolling out or getting chased the
Yeah,
entire time. And I feel like they're not game planning well for him at all. Like this is a guy that you could, be running RPOs or just having actual plays where he can run the ball. And I looked, I think he had like 22 carries for like 19 yards or something like that versus
yeah,
LSU. He also hasn't thrown over 200 yards in like, I think he has like two games where he's thrown over 200 yards. And obviously we know he can throw the ball, but I feel like so much of it is just game scripting and we're just not putting him in good positions, I feel like this season to really shine.
yeah. When I said gone, I'm worried about him not playing for South Carolina going forward. like
You
like
don't think he'll
I think he'll finish the season as long as he's healthy. But like I mean, I don't think there's really any chance of us having him for next year. I think that ship is fully gone. I wouldn't want to come back.
you don't think he goes to the NFL?
I don't know. The Mason jar is cool. The Mason jar is a very cool bar.
Lifesaver, hero.
Yeah, yeah. Boaz Stanley has not looked good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's the play calling's been bad, but hopefully they just I don't know shit about offensive line, but maybe they just simplify things with the new person that comes in. Or I think they announced it's Sean Elliott, right? And I think Sean Elliott's a really good coach. He's been there for years. He's done this job before, and the players love him. So hopefully that's a spark we need. Everything is in front of us in a way. We'll just keep telling ourselves that.
I
Uh, yeah, but we did this last year.
I agree. I think if you want out, there's no way you don't get in with the
I
rest of
don't
our
know.
schedule.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I just don't. I don't believe that anymore. We had to beat Vanderbilt. We had to beat Missouri. We had to beat two of those last three teams.
Yeah, I mean, back on the offensive line for 1 second. I don't know shit about the offensive line either, but I do know that generally speaking, when you run into your offensive line every single game and a guy is facing the complete opposite direction,
Yeah,
probably not a good look because
yeah,
I've seen that literally every single game where our guys are not downfield blocking. They're literally just turned around watching the running back get tackled or run into him.
yeah,
So whoever's coming in, I think that's probably the first thing you need to fix is
yeah,
just downfield blocking.
yeah. Their communication has been horrible.
Matthew Fuller, though, awesome.
Matthew Fuller is awesome.
Sorry, Evan.
No, me neither. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the tail on the donkey's
and
new.
a
That's
part of
new.
me, a part of me, we probably got to move on from the Gamecocks in a second, but part of me wonders, like, if you're an offensive lineman, if you got Sellers back there for the Gamecocks, are you thinking, oh, you know, he'll get out of it, or he'll roll out, he'll break a few tackles, and just, I mean, I know that's not their mindset, but a part of me is just like, are some of these guys just letting some blocks go because they know Sellers is gonna go that way, or yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it just I agree. I guess yeah, because I think to Charlie's point, we need to move on. My last kind of piece, at least here, and then we should hit NFL. Except for Vanderbilt, where Sellers was obviously out for the entire second half and a little bit in the first. The two games we lost with Sellers playing the entire game, we have been outcoached and not outplayed, not out talented, I should say. We've been outcoached. It the pet the we're in these games. We have the players to be in these games. We are just however many flags we had in Missouri. That's coaching. Like that kind of stuff. That's what's happening in my opinion. But Um, the one other thing I had for college football, Florida State. Florida State's dead. That's all. That's all I had.
Dad. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Norvell, if outside of the Jordan Travis year, he has been bad. Like he's not been a good coach. In really any sense of the word. But yeah, let's take it to NFL. Because we could talk coaches for another 30 minutes. I Yeah, we should start doing just our team money line parlays because that would be 2-0 in the last two. That we'll get to the gambling.
Good
part,
odds
but,
too.
Oh, boy,
Great
yeah,
odds.
Yeah. Yeah. Who wants to kick off their team first?
Boone, I was gonna say, I feel like, yeah, I feel like with where they're at,
Yeah.
gotta hear
So
it.
we are the number one overall seed in the AFC right now. If everything were to end today, if COVID were to strike, we would be the number one AFC seed. Um, Not an impressive win, not an impressive. Cardinals, you have the backup, which honestly, I think that gave them more juice. The first start for a backup quarterback usually it's like the new manager bounce that you talk about in soccer. Jacoby Brissett threw for he threw for 320 and I think 3 touchdowns maybe. They're down their top two running backs. They're down their quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. left I think in the first quarter with concussion. And we just continue to let Trey McBride eat us alive. We let Zay Jones eat us alive. We let Greg Dortch eat us alive. Michael Carter had some good runs. Jacoby Brissett was dicing people up. The defense is a big issue. We're down our top three corners. We have one competent linebacker, and none of our pass rushers can get to the quarterback. Honestly, the reason that we are where we are is because the offense has looked great. Daniel Jones has looked great. Jonathan Taylor looks like the best running back in football. But realistically, we've played two teams that people projected to be playoff teams, and we split 1-1 with those two teams. Obviously, I'm not gonna, boo-hoo the 5-1 start. We haven't been 5-1 since like 2009, I don't think. But there's a lot of issues on this defense, and if there's not some changes in practice this week, the Chargers could definitely expose us. We can go 0-2 in LA. Just some weird preseason action or pregame action. Our best cornerback gets concussed from our tight end in pregame warm-ups. It's his second concussion of the year for Travarius Ward, so that is not good, especially because Jalen Jones hasn't played all season. And Kenny Moore is still out with the Achilles.
That could be what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
That could be your what are you doing moment.
I had it written down. Then the other injury of note, Anthony Richardson's cursed.
What happened with that one as well?
So that was
what happened there?
That was a pure from everything I've heard, everything I've read. That was a pure freak accident. So in the locker room before the game, before they go out, he's stretching with resistance bands, just getting his shoulders loose, and he has the band around a pole in the locker room, and the pole snaps and shoots a piece back at his face on the recoil and hits him like here and breaks his face, breaks his orbital bone. While all he's doing is pregame stretches. I feel dude, incredibly lucky.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm thinking you guys need to do the Diego Maradona, one cigarette and half a beer, or sorry, a few beers as your warm up. I don't think these guys need to be warming up anymore. Let's just go straight into game time because he's too injury prone. Those warm ups.
Richardson is out for 4 weeks. So now there's a lot of talk about what they're going to do. Riley Leonard was all fine.
Range of pores.
Yeah, Riley Leonard was all fine until he was the number 2 quarterback and an injury away from being thrown in there. So there's a lot of conversation about what they might do. But again, they've invested so much money into their defensive line, and outside the D tackles are both incredible. Big Grove and Buckner are absolutely unstoppable at times. But the combination of like Latu, Taekwon Lewis, Kwity Paye, they're just not getting after the quarterback. Kwity Paye has 2 picks and he has like no sacks, I don't think. Maybe 1 sack. No, he's got 1 sack. But this is the number 1 defensive player taken in last year's draft that Chris Ballard said was the best player in the draft. And nobody believed about Chris Ballard. And then you've got people like Jared Verse, who's going nuclear. You've got Quinyon Mitchell, who was a beast last year. They got to start producing, and they got to start producing fast. Interesting game coming up this weekend. Chargers we'll get into Thursday, but all that said, we're 5-1, number one seed in the AFC. So you can only be but so upset with some of the performances. It was good to see Brissett. It was good to see Brissett play well. I've got a lot of love from him when he was the starting QB, so that was fun. He got a nice reception from the crowd. It was cool to see him back. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. Grew up in Indianapolis, so that was kind of cool. Obviously, his dad is in the Ring of Honor there, so that was probably cool for him, cool for his family. But all in all, happy to win, but Chargers is tough.
Another good Jonathan Taylor game, right?
Dude, he's just so good. 123 and a score. I think he has the most touchdowns in the NFL right now. I think like 7 or 8. But he's having an unbelievable season. He is so fast when he gets in open space. And if he wasn't playing as well as he was, we could be in trouble for sure. Because he opens everything up in the offense.
And another touchdown for Tyler Warren. I think I
Yeah.
saw as well. I'm not sure you've mentioned that, but
Yes,
do we just hit that every week now?
we might have to. Yeah, yeah, no, and they scheme him open all game, like all game. Whether it's they have him at fullback on plays, they have him at they've had him at running back. That like he is being force fed the ball a lot of the time. So thank you to Ryan Poles for taking Colson Loveland and not Tyler Warren. Really appreciate that. Yeah, yeah.
I thought it'd be a blowout.
To hold them when you're only up 4 and they have the ball at like the 9-yard line and you hold them 4 straight plays to keep them out of the end zone and then win that game. Defense looked bad but tightened up when they had to. Enough of me. Great weekend.
Soupy. Potentially.
Potential.
Speaking of Soupies, Evan, let's hear your Pats talk.
Wow. He's good.
Great season.
Dude, he's good.
He's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I did have in one of my notes, Colts Patriots rivalry reunited. With the way that both teams have been playing. But yeah, listen, Drake May. I'm not ready to call him the best player in football right now, but he is playing some of the best football in football for sure. This is a game that I was wrong on. Hand up, It's not that I thought the Patriots would lose. I thought the Saints would cover more so. But you're right. I mean, if the refs don't have such a heavy involvement in this game, it's not even 6 points. I mean, 6 points. But I think the spread was at 4. Regardless, the Patriots beat them by more than 6 points if you watch the game. Patriots playing good ball. AFC East is wide open. Yeah, y'all's schedule is lines up very nicely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I need a bit more.
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
I also think like a lot of the spotlight, as you will, has been on Drake May, Charlotte Grown, by the way.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But I feel like I feel like a lot of credits also got to go to Mike Vrabel, especially after last season and how he left Tennessee to go to a franchise which no offense, Evan, was kind of dead. Right. Well, it's just how quickly he's turned it around for me, and like I feel like they drafted really well. It's like night and day compared to what we saw with prior management.
Yeah, but in hindsight, he should have been the guy. That got hired in the first place. Like Gerard Mayo
He
was
played
not
there
ready
for
for that.
like 10 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he's a beast. No, it's just that was just Robert Kraft deciding that he knew better than everyone else. Which
He wanted to
did.
tank.
He potentially. Yeah, no doubt. The last thing I have on this game, Charlie, before we talk the undefeated at home Panthers. I think that the Patriots spread, whatever number that is, over the Titans this week is the lock of the millennium. Vrabel is going to come in pissed off at the team that fired him unfairly. They don't have a coach. I think they're going to beat them by 1.5 billion points. But we'll get to that Thursday. Well, we can't pick. I really wasn't. I've already taken it. Or I'm going to take it. But, yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, we can't take him for Survivor.
There's
I've been hitting my bets well, just not the bets I say on the show. Sorry, Chuck. Tell us about the Panthers because they're an over team now. They're an over team.
Hey, over team and officially frisky. We are no longer in the mud for now. I've seen enough Panthers football over the past pretty much decade to where I know not to get too ahead over my skis. But yeah, I mean this was a game where I feel like everything just kind of came together for the Panthers. The Cowboys have a great offense. Everyone knows they don't have a good defense, so everyone knows that we were going to put up points, but real quick, got to start with Bryce Young. I think the narrative around this guy is hilarious. Every single time his career is in jeopardy, or every single time, you think that he's just not the guy, you start to have those doubts. His back's against the wall. He comes out and he really does perform. He was mic'd up for the game, which I think if you guys go check that out, really good listen. You can kind of see why he won the Heisman, why he won at Bama and everything. So I'm back on the Bryce Young train. It's really hard. Sometimes I'm off, sometimes I'm on. I think I just got to stay on for now and just trust the process. Ted McMillan didn't have really, a huge breakout game yardage wise, but 2 touchdowns,
Two
which is
touchdowns.
what he's kind of been missing from his game. He hasn't really been catching a lot of touchdowns, so that was good to see. Good red zone offense. And then I'll save the most exciting part for me about the Panthers for last, and that is Rico freaking Dowdle. What a player.
Gamecock
He is
legend.
turning into Gamecock legend. Yeah, I mean, it's turning into a great story. I think everyone thought, Chuba was gonna have a huge year. I don't even think he wins that spot back at this point. Like, I think you've got to just ride with Rico.
Yeah.
At 200 plus games at this point, I think he's like second or third in yardage, and he hasn't even played like half the season really. Um, it's just been fun to watch, and this was a revenge game for him. Everyone knew that. He was running hard. He was running people over. He's also a threat out the backfield, catching passes. He caught one, going into the end zone. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the Panthers. Dak, another great game from him.
Yeah.
That was one of my preseason kind of expectations. I felt like he was really going to do well with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens, if you also watch that game, he is
168. He's so good.
168. He's pretty much unguardable this year. He's fun to watch. Like, there was one play he just absolutely hurdled a guy. Another play he tried to hurdle a guy, pretty much standing still. I mean, he's an utterly confusing player, but the guy can ball, and I don't think that's ever really been in doubt.
Yeah. Rico Dowdle, this sentence just doesn't make sense with the likes of Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, but Rico Dowdle has the most total yards by any Panthers player in a single game. 49 yards in one game with the pass with what it was 183 rushing and then another 60 something passing. Just unbelievable performance. I really appreciate how much shit he talked in the week leading up to this game and how much he backed it up. I mean, he's just so fun to watch. I had Rico Dowdle in fantasy last year, and he wasn't doing this last year, but I was confused why the Cowboys were so keen to get rid of him. He was a very serviceable player when they needed him the most, a couple different times. So I know.
Yeah.
And he was a starter for a lot of the games, a lot of my games I was playing. But I was surprised that they cut him. I'm glad to see him getting his flowers. All-time name, Rico Dowdle, is an all-time name.
Great name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
go ahead, Chuck.
2 last things on the wide receiver front. Jimmy Horn from Colorado, he has wheels. If we can get him in more action, he could be really dangerous. He was fun to watch. And Evan, to go to your point on that last drive, Hunter Renfrow, incredibly clutch catch. I mean, the guy just doesn't drop the ball. He might not be the fastest, but he is just old faithful when we need a play and we need just a quick slant. Put it on his chest and he'll catch the ball.
Yeah.
Mr. Dependable, and I think if you also look at what he's dealt with the past a couple years, like had no idea what was wrong with him medically, lost like 30, 40 pounds, thought his career was over. And then to come back and, kind of trying to change the culture at Carolina, I think it's fun to watch. But we got the Bucks in the NFC South, so what can you do right now?
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention, kind of Panthers related, but also Gamecock related for the Rico Dowdle. I don't know if this is NIL related, but the David Tepper Foundation gifted $5 million to South Carolina. So I don't know what that's about, but Tepper does have a South Carolina fetish, so he loves drafting Gamecock. So maybe he's trying to fill the pipeline with some more. Who knows? I will be a Panthers fan, big time.
He's got the money.
Yeah, yeah. Although
he's got the money.
Did you see that Stanford got $50 million in donations from one single person? Like last week, I think it was.
I'm surprised.
He was the same guy who gave the $500 million. Oh, jeez. Yeah, and the sad thing is that just doesn't go
crazy.
Well, yeah, Kansas, but
I mean Stanford
with Andrew Luck.
With all the billionaires that must have come out of Stanford, do they just turn into a powerhouse now if everyone donates $100 million?
But do they care? Do they care enough? Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, they just scrap it all and say, actually, we're a football school now.
Yeah,
lower all the standards.
Who was the Ohio State quarterback a couple years ago? I guess like this is back in like 2015 maybe. When they asked about what his favorite class was, and he responded, "I'm not here to play school." Do y'all remember that guy? Dude, it was the guy. It was the year that they had like 2 quarterbacks go down. JT Barrett was one of the quarterbacks who went down. God, I can't remember his name. He led him to a national championship game, like Carnell something.
Cardale Jones.
Cardale Jones. That's right.
Cardale Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not here to play school. Let's get into best performance, because there was a lot of big time performances today. Or yesterday. Evan, what'd you see? What'd you see out there? Yeah.
I feel like it was a great win from the Chiefs as well, Evan.
Yeah.
Like I got this one wrong. I did not know. You said a little banged up. Lions were missing their entire defense, I felt like. But apart from Aiden Hutchinson, there was not a single starter out there. I mean, and then he popped right back up. I thought he actually hurt himself, and then he's out doing sprints on the sideline. But I guess, maybe just caught a stinger.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I'll get into the Chiefs a little bit later. So I had a couple written down. Yeah, go ahead.
I just gotta say, I'm sorry. For someone who had the Lions, and I know I'm being biased here, the refs just were terrible. I mean, Kelsey catches a ball. But in that game especially, Kelsey catches that ball, and it's like so blatant that he uses the ground to help catch it. He also gets like held a little bit. You could have called it both ways, but he literally just throws his arms up, and the ref just throws a late flag. Then the Jared Goff incident, I won't go too into detail, but that was just a mess. It's a mess. I mean, Boone, you look like you're holding look like you got something to say here.
No, I'll get to it. I'll get to this game in the gambling corner.
Okay, yeah. Let's hear your best performance then.
Yeah, I had a couple different ones that I could have said, and I think we'll get to all of them at some point, but I'm gonna take it back to Thursday with the New York Football Giants, and specifically the young New York Football Giants. Cam Scatterbo, busy, is absolutely an insane human being. The quotes that were coming out from his teammates from Arizona State to his teammates on the Giants about just how crazy, I think it was Wando Robinson, was like, yeah, that dude's dumb as bricks, but I'll fight for him, or something crazy. There's another guy at tight end who was like, first time I met him, yeah, that's who it was. Gunnar Olszewski's a fucking idiot. Yeah. There was another guy who's like, yeah, when I first met him, I tried to introduce myself. He headbutted me, and now we're best friends. Like, who is this guy? And then his moxie makes Jackson Dart play with. This makes no sense, but Jackson Dart without Cam Scatterbo is like annoying and like too cocky and not that good. Cam Scatterbo makes him like cool, and like he turns his douchiness to moxie. and it's a Cam Scatabo effect. The Giants are fun.
They complement each
Yeah.
other very well.
The the Giants are a fun team. Their defense plays hard. They don't have Malik Neighbors. Like I'm bummed
I was
that he's
the most
not
impressive
there.
part.
Yeah. Like I'm bummed to not get to see them. Tyrone Tracy, who was a beast last year, especially towards the end, converted wide receiver turned running back from Purdue of all places. He broke out as a like low drafted guy, and now he's lost his job after 1 year. Cam Scatabo is just everything about him makes him my best performer.
Yeah, I let's touch on Scatabo and Jackson Dart for a second because I feel like all I hear is Cam Scatabo's, on a short lease. Like he's got 3 years at best. The guy's got CTE already.
He
I'm not
might.
worried about Cam Scatabo.
No.
I'm worried about Jackson Dart, okay? This guy is dolphin diving into players, and he is half his size with like, he does not look like a big dude. He's
No.
taking some hits, and you saw the Gruden tape of him being like, dude, you got to cut this out. You're going to get killed. And
Yeah.
he is just not listening. He does not care. He has no regard for if he – but there was one play, I think, the Eagles player just clearly thinks he's going out of bounds. Like, surely not. He's going to take this hit. And he just absolutely dies with the first down. Not even with the ball, just with his head. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a matter of time for him, not Scatabo. Scatabo's going to be fine. He's a goat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
exactly. He's immune. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I know
I'm
that
worried
they're-
about who's hitting Cam Scatabo.
I know that they're both like the same class. They're probably pretty close to age, but like Jackson Dart is just he's a freshman joining fraternity, and Cam Scatabo is like is John Belushi from Animal House, and Cam Scatabo what's Jackson Dart just wants to be Cam Scatabo. Like he just there's times where he runs into contact for no apparent reason other than to run into contact. But all that said, I didn't like Jackson Dart until a couple weeks ago. Now I can't stop watching the Giants. And if you told me I can't stop watching New York Giants football, like back in August, I'd tell you that you're crazy or I have CTE. But now they're must-watch television.
I think we also got to talk about maybe the funniest thing I saw this entire slate is Jackson Dart getting banged up, right? Going to the tent.
Dude,
Russell Wilson
yes.
coming out for one pass that he just throws in the dirt.
Yeah.
And you just see Dable on the sideline like having an absolute fit with the doctors. Like I can't watch this shit.
Dude, and then
Get
Scatabo
him back
goes,
on the field.
Then Scatabo goes in the tent with him. There's like 4 players.
He's
and
like,
Dable
I
in
know
the
what
tent.
this process is.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude.
No, I think Scat went in there to be like, "Yo, I know what a concussion looks like. He's good. Let him out there."
Oh, no, yeah. He gets concussed intentionally before the test, just so when he has to take the test, he has the same answers. Chuck, let's move through here. What was your most impressive performance?
Yeah, I'll save my Eagles shit talk for next week if they can't pull it out.
Oh, yeah, you can get into it if you want.
I just think if I hear Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback again, I'm gonna lose my shit. Can we just stop? Can we just stop, please? He's a great leader. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Maybe he was at one point, but just stop.
Yeah,
Cut it out.
There's a lot of problems in Philly right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna cruise on over to the end of the slate and last night, and I'm gonna call out the Falcons. Taking down the Bills. I think the whole world was on the Bills here. I said it last night, but that performance was the Falcons team I kind of expected this season with some of the moves that they made. Drake London was awesome. Bijan Robinson, when he's on, is the best running back in the league. I mean, he's just so hard to tackle. Well, I just mean like when he's
you're good.
really having a game. And then the defense, like I don't know what the Bills' offensive line was doing, if it was really on them or just the absolute nightmare that the Falcons' defensive line was, but they were getting to him almost every single play. I felt like they really were keeping the Bills at bay. You felt like it was one of those games where the Bills, you've seen this before, the Bills are just going to come back in the second half, and it just never did. The Falcons really restricted them. And I just got to say, same with the Eagles. Bills
The
aren't.
Bills,
I feel like
the
there's a
Bills
lot of question
defense,
marks.
the Bills defense. I'm
Yeah,
glad you said that because Michael Penix, 250 yards, good quarterback outing. Drake London, 158. I have Drake London in fantasy. That is uncommon for Drake London through this point of the year. Bijan
their defense
Robinson,
is Swiss cheese.
Bijan Robinson, 170 on the ground, just on the ground. Um, the Bills have a lot of problems going on, and it's all over the board. James Cook hasn't looked the same. Josh Allen's looked normal. Their lack of a number one guy at receiver is starting to rear its head, in my opinion. But yeah, then the line just can't. The offense looks disjointed.
Yeah, it seems like hero. It feels like hero ball from
Yeah,
from Allen at this point. He's obviously talented, but no one's getting out of those
yeah,
those kind of plays. I also go say similar to kind of like not Notre Dame, but that Ravens win is looking awful at this
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like they gave up 40 points. The Ravens are obviously banged up, and we'll probably talk about that at some point. But yeah, the Bills are in trouble. I feel like.
yeah. I mean it. The AFC, the AFC South has two front runners. I think the AFC East has two front runners. I think the AFC North, the Steelers are comfortably in the in the lead there, and I don't know that I think they're the best team in that division, but I thought the Ravens would be good. And then the AFC West, we said it preseason, we're not going to be the ones to try to have the hot take that the Chiefs aren't going to win that division, but there's competition. There's three teams that theoretically could win it. But no team in the AFC has looked dominant like we thought the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs would look. It's kind of been surprising teams and disappointing teams, but nobody has separated themselves completely. I had a couple other best performances before we jump in. One, skill players in general this week. I mean, just looking through some of these stat leaders, JT 123, HN 128, Rico Dowdle we talked about, Derrick Henry didn't score but 122, Bijan 170, and then look some of these receiver stat lines: Drake London 158, Kendrick Bourne 142, and Jigba 162, Pickens 168. Those are just big time numbers. A lot of skill players, 8. Jamar Chase specifically on one play where he's getting completely mugged by two guys, and Joe Flacco still just presses the Jamar Chase button and he catches it with one hand. Like, unbelievable play. Not a best performer, but a top play, if you will. I mean, there was just a lot of fun offensive football this week from a lot of good players.
Yeah, I love that Jamar Chase play as well. I,
I
I,
can't
I didn't
believe that's
realize it
not a
at the
flag.
time. Oh, awful. There was a lot of those where
Yeah,
there was terrible refereeing, like we
yeah,
said. But I didn't realize that was a play where those cornerbacks were yapping to him all game. And I feel like he just went on the sideline down 2 touchdowns and just said, throw me the ball.
yeah,
Just throw it up and I'll get
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, just touch on that game really quick. Flacco looked scrappy in the second half. I mean, first half he looked atrocious,
I
but
think the Bengals are going to be a problem.
I don't think they're going to be a problem. I think they're gonna clip some people maybe, but I don't know that they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, just a team that people don't want to play. I
Yeah,
guess I'll put it that way.
that's true. That's true. That's true. I don't know, Jim. Yeah.
Right.
Can he beat Ouchie Foot before we before they're eliminated? Yeah. Well, before we kick it, did any changes happen in worst team, or are we all still the Jets? I mean, okay. So we can save the green. We can save the
Panthers
green
play them
machine.
next week, and feels like a
We'll
letdown
get to
spot.
that on Thursday. We will
Yeah.
get to that on Thursday. Because we'll touch on Survivor here in a second, but I think that's going to be a popular pick, and I don't know, Jim. My best team, it has changed, and do I believe in my heart that this is the best team in football? Probably not, but they have the number one run through a brick wall guy in football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they don't seem to give a shit about injuries. They continue to win. I think this is their first win that wasn't like a one possession game winning drive like type deal. They just Baker doesn't seem to care about who he's playing with. He just the guys ride for him. And Vita Vea and that defense is playing well. Todd Bowles is doing correct coaching decisions in areas where he never has before. So yeah, it's for me it's the Bucks. The Bucks have been awesome all season.
Bucks are showtime. I don't know if I'd agree that they're the best team in the NFL right now. I feel like obviously they're going to get some guys back, but I definitely agree about Baker. I feel like he's the obvious MVP frontrunner right now. That clip of him dishing one out for a touchdown and just sitting in the pocket and taking an absolute shot
Yeah.
and then getting up. And I also do just want to mention I love his attitude about how everyone's kind of now coming out and suddenly, a lot of those kind of talking shit moments are now just grit and
Yeah.
him being, just a tough guy and a dog. And he mentions like 5 years ago that,
Yeah.
y'all weren't saying that.
Yeah, 5
I was
years ago,
undraftable.
I was a cocky asshole. Yeah.
yeah, like all types of things. And I feel like the guy has really just not changed. I feel like he's kept that same grit, uncoachable, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny to me, like winning cures all.
Dude, if you were to like look up a meme of what it's like to have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, it's that scene in Longest Yard where Adam Sandler's running for a first down without his helmet on. It's like he's just an absolute like does not care about. He's Cam Scatabo, but can throw. Although we saw Scatabo throw last year in that playoff, so they're the same
Yeah,
person. It's the same picture, Your Honor.
that's true. And just matured a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Bucks are not your best team, Chuck. Who is your best team?
I'm staying with the Lions. I know that they lost to the Chiefs this week. A tough game going into Arrowhead, but I can't emphasize enough how banged up the defense was. The Lions don't have a bad defense to me. Just, you can't go into Arrowhead with your whole secondary out and expect to be Patrick Mahomes. In hindsight,
Yeah.
should have seen that. But I think the talent on the offensive side, what we've seen from their sample size so far, I feel like once they get their guys back, they're gonna be right back where they were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're still going to be a tough out. Here we
I will
go.
be.
He's the fucking worst.
I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I don't quite believe that yet.
early.
I am.
Yeah,
We're
yeah. Evan, I know we'll get to this Thursday, but I just took a peek at the Patriots schedule, and there are a lot of winnable games on that
there's a lot.
schedule.
There's a lot of games.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot that y'all playing a last place schedule this year.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
How long is Ibuka out?
Listen,
Dude, it's tough
we get
because
them.
it's hamstring. It's hamstrings. So like
Just get Mike Evans doctors on the same team.
well, and Chris Godwin's coming back. I mean, I
Godwin's
counted 9. Huh?
Godwin's
I know,
coming
like
back. Yeah.
yeah, he's been back, but like he'll be
Yeah,
able to
he's not
step
100%.
into a yeah. I just counted like 9 winnable games, and then obviously there's a couple other ones that we'll see, but not what we're here to talk about. Has everyone said their best team? Because I'm gonna go ahead and get into my worst take.
Sure.
Yeah. One last thing on the Bucks,
Yeah.
though. That Tez Johnson clip was hilarious.
The MVP
Dude.
one.
That was just
Catch was
that
sick
made me
too.
laugh so much.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's valid
Congrats,
MVP.
hey,
I thought.
congrats on your first NFL touchdown too.
I always respect when a player is so like yeah. I thought for sure like he was not making a joke. He really thought that those were for him. And then admitting that I love when players do that. We're obviously going to get into the gambling corner here after the worst take, so I'm going to jump off. And my worst take has been just pretty much the last 3 weeks of Survivor picks. I was riding for the Eagles over the Broncos. Now, granted, the Broncos didn't look that much better, but if it was up to me, I would have picked the Eagles. Before that, I was wrong on the Rams. These are my bad takes. I'm bad at those, so I will be relegated to third monkey when it comes to Survivor pick. I'm just pressing buttons from now on. I'll give a Survivor update here in a second, but Ev, what's your worst take right now?
So this isn't a take that April 2020.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my God, I was wrong.
I do remember you being out on May. I did not know how nasty the McCarthy backstory of that is. That is.
I saw a few takes this week that that Jackson Dart is what we thought JJ would be.
I don't know.
Or JJ McCarthy, like
Yeah, he doesn't have a Billy Goat on his team.
Yeah, he doesn't have a second.
Charlie, Chuck, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, every week it just gets worse. But Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I mean, it's like to me, it's getting. Yeah, right. It's getting very, 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 very close to unsalvageable at this point.
I've given up.
Yeah, and I feel like even like to me, this was like if Steelers beat the Browns, Ravens lose to the Rams, which was very predictable. I don't think they're winning that division. Even if Lamar comes back, Harbaugh might be on the hot seat at the end of this season.
I think there's got to be a conversation. There has to be a conversation.
Yeah, I think he's done enough to get him a season like this and keep his job, but something is very wrong. And I know they're banged up, but something is very wrong in Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, teams have been banged up in the past, but whatever's going on there is just not working.
And from a team where we thought they were going to be the best defense in the NFL, to ship them more points, I think we said last week, right? They gave up more points than the entire 2000 team did.
Yeah,
all season already is crazy.
Jump over to the.
Yeah. So I'll give a quick update on the Survivor pool and then go through our picks, assign the points, and we'll finish out with categories. How's that sound?
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You want to start with categories?
One station starter for the records.
Okay. So the Survivor pool, there are 5,643 left. The double week took out a lot on Thursday. I think 3,000 went out on Thursday. But after that, I was like well, no, there's another 500 that went out yesterday. Between the Bears, the Bears and the Falcons. But yeah, we still got a long way to go. There's still 5,000 people in this pool, but quite a big surprise, or quite a big purse, if you will. I'm going to kick things off because I'm already talking. My best bet, but that is Texas money line and the Chiefs money line. I sniffed out the rat line. It didn't look right, and those were my two biggest plays of the week. I will admit that they were average size plays up until I had some beverages, and then they got exponentially bigger. I would not say to do that often, but I was right on those best bets of the week, and I was told I was wrong in this very program. I was not. They were not a Survivor pick, so I couldn't be that wrong. But yes, those are my best bets. Thank you.
Solid.
Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah, this was another one I rode kind of solo. Made it the day of, but Seahawks over Jags.
Yeah.
I think it was close to like a pick 'em, but Jags coming off that big win. Going across the country. Seahawks are very real. Didn't really think it before the season, but Sam Darnold's playing incredible. I think Jackson Smith is the best receiver in the league right now, statistically, I think. So something like that.
He's up there.
So
especially with Luka out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one was just Seahawks were leading the whole game. Never really had a doubt about it.
Yeah. Ev, what about you? Yeah. A&M's playing good ball. They're playing good ball. Ev, I'll leave it with you. What was your worst bet?
For the next 30 seconds.
Wow.
Or at least
Who would have thought that preseason, by the way?
No one. I thought there was 3 playoff teams in my preseason.
I did too.
So maybe that's my worst take, but I'll stick to the one I had earlier.
Yeah. Chuck, what about you?
Well, I also just gotta say, betting on Dylan Gabriel to lead a team to victory is that's insane.
I didn't realize
the Browns.
I thought he was getting his first win.
Yeah,
I was giving the guy a chance at a win.
I didn't
Also,
know the Browns
Jalen Ramsey pointing at Shador
there.
Sanders on the sidelines after a tackle
was
awesome. Insane.
Yeah,
what a season he's having, though. I mean,
he's looked good. He's looked really good.
Yeah. Worst bet though for me, Lions. I mean, I said it before, but just felt like I just did poor research, honestly. I knew they were injured, but I did not realize they were that injured. And
Yeah,
like I said, you cannot play a Chiefs team like that and expect to not give up 30 points like that.
yeah. We've touched on this team a ton in the last couple weeks. I had a Penn State to win the Big Ten future, 2 units that I'll never see again. Yeah, so just a terrible, terrible, terrible bet. Sweatiest win. I don't know if we'll have the same, but we definitely all could. It was the Broncos money line for the survivor pool. I would have been beside myself if I had to wake up early to watch this team lose to the Jets in London. Um, yeah, especially the way that game was going with the Jets having the ball like 10 yards from field goal range and deciding to go for it on 4th and 8 with Justin Fields against the defense that was just eating him alive, honestly, eating that offensive line alive the entire game. I could not believe Aaron Glenn didn't at least, go for the kick because they could not move the ball the entire game. We got away with one there for sure. So that was the sweatiest for me this week.
Saved me in that
nice.
game, and
Yeah,
it got saved. Thank you, Tyson.
Yeah. Caleb
Yeah, I was gonna Caleb's surprisement.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that one for one of my best bets, Evan, is Alabama. I also gotta say didn't watch a lot of college football Saturday. Was enjoying some of the outdoors, but I opened my phone on the top of the mountain, right, where there's a little bit of service, trying to take a picture, and all I see is Alabama, Missouri tied 17-17, and then go down the mountain, get no service, and so
Oh
looking at that the
God.
next day and seeing the score line very close,
I would have gotten
I
my
knew it was
car
a
and
sweaty
got
one.
service.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna
But
let
that
you get away with your camping adventure during college football. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yes, Charlie had
Yeah,
priorities
that's
this
fucking
weekend.
pathetic. That's embarrassing.
sometimes you just gotta reset the wheels.
Nope.
Um, Sweatiest bet though for me was the Chargers. I was going to say this was also a pretty impressive performance. I feel like it went slightly under the radar because it's the Dolphins, but the Dolphins had this wrapped up. They honestly should have won this game. I had Chargers money line just because the spread was pretty close. But if you actually watched this game and you watched the last play, what's his name? Hassan Haskins,
That guy
maybe the
stinks.
play of the week. Okay, well,
No, I'm just messing with you.
literally jobbers around into the offensive line, makes an incredible block. Ball gets out to Lab McConkey. He goes up the field, makes another block, and puts the Chargers in field goal range. Really gutsy play, gutsy win. Chargers were missing so many players, but it was a sweaty one.
Yeah,
We'll leave it at that.
absolutely. We'll stick with you, Chuck. Let's round out this segment. What was your worst loss of the week?
Oh, worst loss was South Carolina +9. That was a tough one. Probably should have bought the point. Definitely should have bought the point. But you always hate to see spreads of that size lose by 1 point, especially when it's
Yeah,
your team. Oh, I had a
Uh,
money line. Hold on, I had a money line.
I
Feeling
did
good.
too. Well, mine is it's my worst loss because I thought there was no way it could lose. I had it as the anchor in so many parlays, and that is Stafford to throw 2 touchdowns against the worst passing defense in the entire NFL. Listen, we gave up 7 picks in 2 parlays. We got one right. We'll take our medicine here in a second. At least you can fade us and maybe make money, but regardless, I had that in so many parlays. I was really confident in that. The Rams just didn't look like they came to play. It was a classic like we're too good for this team, come out flat, and you end up in a weird like it's like that. What was that Jaguars Bills game a couple years ago that was like 6-9 or something like that? It was one of those kind of games. Just really weird. But yeah, Stafford not throwing more than 2 touchdowns. Absolutely killed me all weekend. Ev?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I started Stafford over Dak, so that was tough.
I started Stafford a lot as well.
Bummer.
Go ahead, just take it away. Let's just take it away. Get into your issue.
Okay, so my thing is, listen, and actually,
like that.
So you want that for
Going
NFL
forward.
as well, then? Okay. So
I like it.
I'm good with that. But as far as this week goes, because none of us have been doing that this whole time. But except for you, I guess. But yeah.
I have.
So if we're gonna do it that way, should we probably make it so that there's they have to be a dog by a certain amount of points?
Well, why wouldn't you should just do money line has to be plus 150 or greater, right? Because if you're taking money line,
Yes. That's,
I
I mean, money line spread is usually,
yeah.
lined up.
So
Yes,
and
I'd
then
say minus three.
we're talking about the underdog according to Vegas, not necessarily rankings.
Underdog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vegas
Oh, yeah.
underdog.
This is the gambling corner, Boone,
Yeah.
not the
This
AP poll.
I mean, and
All
plus,
right,
you have a bunch
all
of
right.
idiots working at the AP.
I think this was their best poll of the season so far, but that's not saying a lot.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get into
Even a blind
sorry,
scroll
go
finds a
fair
blind
enough.
scroll.
Yeah,
finds
The
a nut
clock's
once in a
right
while.
twice a day.
Depends how it's broken.
So the picks. We'll start with. I'll go through Evan's. Evan, your favorite of the week was Bama -3. So I didn't know what to do there. We can talk about that.
Week for the boy.
You got to goose up this week.
That's a tough week.
Broncos
Listen.
is tough. They barely even won.
Good news is
You gotta balance it out. Stinker. Stinkers. Brutal. I blame the refs. Ooh, the jump.
And then
I feel like
let's
a
read
sicko for taking Florida. I feel disgusting taking Florida now. I mean, that's done. That's done.
Yeah.
That is done. I think I had Bama in the.
Nope.
Did I put Michigan in the parlay?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Oh, you're
what-
right. You're
What if we're
right.
like, maybe this week on the
Yeah,
board.
Michigan and Florida are disgusting. I thought I took Chargers money line. I should have taken that as A regardless, but I think I said money line for the parlay because I didn't want to kill us on the spread. Oh, 0.5 miss, brutal. Half a point.
Oh boy.
Good stuff, guys.
Zip.
Adios.